No mercy, no mercy, no mercy.
As Black Indians on trial. Recently, Kanye West, went live. He had one of his rants, and one of his claims is that we were Black and we were Indian. Excuse me. He said we were Indian. How many of your grandmothers said you had Indian in you? So now this is going to have even more.
No, let me stop it right there. For one, for one, why is it an issue with somebody claiming a heritage though? Why is it an issue? Like y'all making it an issue, bro. Y'all making it an issue because somebody chooses to identify with their ancestors and with their blood relatives. Like you don't know Kanye family. You don't know why Kanye said what he said. So for y'all to sit up here and be like, oh, Black American Indians on trial for what? Y'all, I don't, just like I don't know your family, you don't know my family, you don't know the next person's family. This is personal. This is not about skin complexion. This is not about, you know, oh, you black, brother. So you black, I'm black, we blackity black. No, this ain't that type of party, homie. We not foreigners, homie. And we ain't dealing with foreign ideology. So the thing is, we dealing with our ancestors, no matter how light they are, no matter how dark they are. Y'all not finna keep us in this we are Africans paradigm. We not finna let y'all do it, bro.
More people claiming to be indigenous to America. But as you remember, 4 years back, Kanye West had his father on all of his acres. And his father said to him, he said, all of these acres are from a Black man. So that goes to show you that even
All these acres are from a black man. So if this is 4 years ago, then there had to be some type of awakening. That means Kanye and his family had these type of conversations in house, just like a lot of us. You know what I'm saying? A lot of our people were not fortunate enough to know, who they were, right? Because their family members were indoctrinated by the system and told where they came from by the system. You know, it's people like myself who are fortunate enough who was given the records early in our lives, right? But there's also those people who's not fortunate enough to get those records early, so then they learn late. So you can't sit up here and say, well, 4 years ago, his daddy said, a black man, got this land and cut it out, homie. Cut it out. People can grow within time. I mean, you only have a certain amount of time to grow before you know that old saying, old fool was once a young fool. So you do have a cap on your shit, but people grow, homie. You can't hold people to old bullshit. Come on now, you know this.
even Kanye West's father knew that he's a Black man. All right, so we're going to talk about it. Are the Black people in America today, are they indigenous to the Americas? Now, there's a thing where they say we're classified, they were misclassified. And Negro is really an Indian. So we're going to look at
Let me stop him right there because I already know where he's gonna go. He's putting words in the American Indian's mouth, right? And I'm tired of saying American Indian. We Indians. Let's stand on business with that. We Indians. Indian belongs to the Americas first, not India. So niggas that's Indian, we finna stand on business. What he's doing is he's trying to push it up and say, oh, well, the black, aka American Indian, is saying that, they was misclassified and, reclassified. Yes, an American Indian was classified or reclassified to Negro or misclassified as Negro and black. That's what we're saying. We're not saying that the definition of Negro really mean Indian. That's not what we're saying, but that's what you're doing. You're twisting shit up. YK the truth.
the etymology of the word Negro. 1550s, member of a black skinned race of Africa. Clearly, it says Africa. It doesn't say America. From Spanish or
As I said before, y'all just heard him. He went to the definition. See, he went to the definition to prove, oh, a Negro means somebody coming from Africa. But see, watch how I drag his motherfucking bald headed ass with this definition, right? What? Just listen. Pay close attention. Just listen.
Portuguese, Negro, black, from Latin, negrum, nominative, Niger. So that's Nigeria, black, dark. So we know that the word Negro is speaking about an African person. So anytime you hear, you see the word Negro in these senses and these narratives, they are in reference to a person of African descent. Now we look at the word African
We can't let him skip. Just you can't let him do
American.
that.
These narratives, they are in.
No, he ain't finna skip over this. So he read the first paragraph, right? And even within the first paragraph, he don't understand what he's reading, right? So the first paragraph say a member of the black skinned race of Africa. We all know this is critical race theory. Black skinned race of Africa. Who has black skin? Who come up with this narrative? Well, your enemy is talking about somebody having black skin, and your enemy is trying to put you into a box, right? But then it gets even better. The second paragraph to this, he didn't want to read the second paragraph because it totally contradicts him, period, right? So the second paragraph say, as an adjective from the 1590s, used with a capital N, became general early 20th century, 20th century or 20 centuries, 20C, right? 1930 in New York Times style book in reference to U.S. citizens of African descent. So it didn't be when the word Negro with the capital N, which this is the definition he's reading, right? With the capital N, when it actually applied to people, it was in the 1930s in New York. So once again, how can you use a word with the capital N, a noun, which is fairly new? It was created in the 1930s. You can't use this to say black people come from Africa or a Negro come from Africa when it became a noun and applied to people in 1930. Before it became a noun, it's an adjective. An adjective is not a person, place, or thing. See, now we got to go back to the fundamentals of basic education. Okay? Now we got to go back to that because niggas don't understand what they're reading. They reading what they want to read and they continue to want to argue and want to fight. Why do we need to argue and fight when we have a fight that's greater than you, nigga? We have a fight. Those of us who identify as Indians and identify with our tribes and ancestors, our fight is much greater than a petty argument with a nigga online who is still lost and confused as to who he is. Why? You like that? You sound mad. You sound mad. Let's keep it real.
You look mad. Let's start there. You look mad. Let's start there.
Right. Like, come on, man. Come on. Come on. Let's continue.
Reference to a person of African descent. Now we look at the word African American. Clearly, it's African, right?
You see how you skip past
Now
that? No,
this
let's
is
go back.
from descent. Now we look at the
Now, he's talking about the word African American. It's an adjective. Once again, it's not a noun. It's not a person. It's not a place or thing. It's not something. It's an adjective. And this is where reading comprehension, and I'm gonna keep saying it over and over. That's the most critical thing a person can have is reading comprehension. Because once you have that, then you'll be able to understand what these words and symbolisms mean. Then you'll understand I'm not gonna fight my brother or my sister, my brothers and sisters, you know, why fight them? I have a greater fight. Once you learn how to read, bro, I promise you, and this is for everybody, young and old. Get better at reading. Get better at reading. Get better at doing math. Once you get better at reading, you'll understand who trying to pull who trying to pull the okie doke, who trying to pull shit over your eyes. You know what I'm saying? Like, man, like look, reading is fun, homie. Believe me. Believe me, reading is fun on God. On God. Because you'll be able to see who the enemies are. You'll see who the enemies are. You'll see who the fakes are. Like, reading is important, bro. Let's continue.
The word African American. Clearly, it's African, right? Now, this is from an 1864 source, and it's speaking about the African slave trade from the 15th to the 18th century. They speak about Negro land. So there's even a place in Africa called Negro land. And it says clearly the Negroes from Africa. Let me blow it up for you guys. It says
Negro land never existed. If you look, okay, so look at it like this. They didn't give you a definition, or they didn't give you words of Negro spelled Negro. Then they gave you words of Negro being spelled Negroes. And then they're saying Negro land. Like, come on. I'm gonna go into the next video. Not a next video. I'm gonna do a video on the word Negro, the word play, because if it never, and look at the spelling. And this is why I try to tell y'all, look, man, it's so much bars I'm gonna drop for y'all. But look at the spelling, right? We just read the word Negro, the definition. Now look at the spelling. What do you see? You see a capital Negro, right? E. It got an E in it, right? The Negro with an E is not the same as Negro without it, right? It's not the same, and it applies to different people. That's for a whole nother video. But the spelling of Negro, like with the capital N, this is code. How can they talk about something that happened in the 1400s with Negro with a capital N when Negro with a capital N didn't have the same meaning back then because it was just started in the 1930s? Oh my God. Uh, yeah, I got to get back into this education shit. Bars, 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 bars. But
Rise and shine and give God your glory,
man, this shit crazy.
Negro land. And it says clearly the Negroes from Africa. Let me blow it up for you guys. It says the Negroes from Africa. So we know that in order to be a Negro, you're from Africa. Now, this is a map of Negro land. And it's
Hold on. Let me stop it. Now, like I told y'all, pay attention. Look at the spelling of the word. He just read Negro with a OE at the end, right? This says Negro with a O, no E, and then also it has a capital N. Remember, Negro didn't apply to a people until a person, place, or thing until 1930 in New York City. In motherfucking New York City.
New York City.
So it just shows you that this map is fake. It's fake. Who created the map? Who created the map? What country did it come from? You gotta ask these questions, man. You gotta free your mind, homie. We ain't foreigners, homie. We ain't foreigners.
the Guinea Coast. This is where my peoples come from. I did my genealogy.
That's where his people come on. Your people don't come from Negro land, bro. It never existed.
I did my DNA, and my people are from West Africa. Black. What does it mean to be black?
Is your people from West Africa or they travel to West Africa? Because if your people is from West Africa, then you will have genealogy with your people coming from Africa, and they have their African names. Boom. Shot him up again. Boom. What is niggas talking about? So now he want to read this black definition. Let's read it. Let's see what it say. Let's read it.
Black. The meaning dark-skinned person, African. So even the word black means African. So when you look at these census records, and you see black there.
So why was they saying so why does somebody from Africa have to have the same name, Negro and black? Mean somebody from Africa? That don't make sense. That don't make sense. But let's continue. Remember, and look, pay attention to detail. It's saying black. You see, it's highlighted. Black is highlighted, and it says adjective. So niggas is walking around black power, and I love my black skin, and niggas is lost. Niggas confused because niggas don't understand word spells, wordplay, bars.
They are talking about an African person of African descent, not an indigenous person. All right.
Of course, I'm not talking about an indigenous person. Black Negro never talked about people, period, or in general. But you can't say that American Indians were not reclassified or misclassified as Negro and Black. You can't say that's not true, especially when we have the records. We have family records. What do you have? If anything, you presenting yourself as the I. You seem mad. You seem upset, and you're
You
presenting
look
yourself
mad.
as the
Let's
I.
start there.
Let's start there. Let's start there. You presenting yourself as angry and an op because you trying to push this shit on us that was pushed on you from the system. Instead of you sitting down trying to have this conversation, trying to figure shit out and trying to restore shit. Because once you restore shit here, then the world is gonna follow what's going on here. So instead of sitting down trying to figure this thing out, you rather fight with people about who they are and who they not. When you don't even know who you are.
You look mad. Let's start there.
Now there's something called the Black Belt. This is from 1870s, and it's literally a community, an African population. This is across the U.S. South with the heaviest African population. It's called the Black Belt. So we know black means African. Now, when a lot of us do our genealogy, we have ancestors who served in the Civil War. You know, they had to serve in it. But in order to serve in it, something was passed, and it was called the Militia Act of 1864. Now, what does the Militia Act do? What was it for? It says, Section 13, and be it further enacted that when any man or boy of African descent who by the laws of any state shall owe service or labor to any person who during the present rebellion. So basically, this is for African people. It gave them the right to fight in these wars. Okay?
So if the United States, right? Because remember, at this time, the United States was already trying to get the Indian, which is a business partner here. So this is Indian land, and the Indian is a business partner in our Constitution, right? So if the United States, the foreigners who infiltrated the United States, brought in African foreigners to fight, who were they fighting? Who was they going to war with at that time in 1862? They was going to war with the home team, with the Indian. The Indian is the loyalist. The Indian is loyal to the soil. But then again, you got to think about it. If you claim to be African, right? If you claim to be African, but then at the same time you say the white man is doing this and doing that, you gotta look at it from two different angles, right? If you say the white man is bad, you niggas was working with the white man. Let's just say African applied to dark skinned people, right? Then you dark skinned niggas was working with the white man to take the land from the Indian, which is also a dark skinned person here in the Americas, or a brown skinned person here in the Americas. Or you really not African, like how you say you are, and the white boy is really African. Because if the United States is paying the white African, right? If the United States is giving the African money, giving the African land, but you niggas talking about reparations right? Make it make sense. The so-called confused black is always talking about reparations in this country and how they've been mistreated and how they don't have anything. But then turn around, when we start reading these acts and these laws, the African was taken care of. So who are you? Somebody who getting to the chicken. Nigga, if you being fed and taken care of and you have land, you're not gonna say the United States has mistreated you and you want to get reparations because there was things in line for the African to get paid and get land. So who are you? Because I mean, from what it's looking like, y'all making yourselves the enemy. All because you're confused about what's happened here. This is crazy. Look, this is Choctaw Mac. Um, I'm back, baby. I'm back because things is out of control. It's when I mean it's out of control, it's out of control. But I'm not gonna waste my time arguing and fighting with people. But instead, what I will do is shed light on things, and we got to get shit shaking. We got to get it cooking, because at first we were so focused on getting our families records so we can learn our true identity here and get the land. But it seems like nobody's focused on that because now it's just arguing. It's arguing. And when I was putting out my videos exposing what a Moor was, an African, and anything else in the way, it wasn't arguing like that. Everybody was on hush. But I'm back. I'm back, and I'm just finna work hard. I'm not finna talk about what I'm doing. I'm finna work on these videos. I'm finna shed light on this information and become a workhorse again. So yeah, with that being said, I'm out.